Building an online brand can feel overwhelming. It can feel a little bit confusing. And you may be saying to yourself, what do I share? What don't I share? And how do I choose what to share? And so, in this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 things you need to do to get started building an online brand. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kenya Kelly, where I teach you how to build a business and make money online. We have a new video that comes here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so be sure to subscribe to the channel for all the updates. Today, we're talking about 10 things you need to know in order to start building an online brand. Because one of the things that we want to do today is figure out how do I, start creating multiple streams of income. So you may be someone and you work a full-time job, but you are thinking about building an online brand, or you're already full-time in your business, but you're trying to build an online brand because you have maybe a physical location right now, or you just haven't been the face of your brand and know, so now you want to be the face. So today I'm going to give you the 10 things you need to know to get started when it comes to building an online brand. The first thing you're going to want to do is you have to define your niche and your audience. Now, I know that there are people online that say you do not need to have a niche. And while I respect their opinion, I actually think that they're wrong. Okay? I feel like they are wrong because if your desire is to build an online brand, giving people a reason to watch you, consume your content, and do some type of business with you, then you kind of have to have a reason for people to be there. So I've got some of my favorite people that I have watched online, and one of them is a legal commentator. She talks about all things pop culture when it comes to the law. Very specific niche. And so when I watch her, I know exactly what to expect. She's not going to give me hair tutorials or fashion tutorials, but when I want to know about pop culture and law, she is the person that I need to watch. But I have other people that are like a couple. They're a married couple, and I've been watching for them for 10 plus years. They do a lot of comedy, lifestyle type of things. And so I know exactly what I'm getting into when I watch their content. And so when it comes to you and this online brand that you desire to create, you have to define that niche, because people are not just going to follow you because you want them to. They're not just going to do business with you because you want them to. They are going to follow because whatever it is that you are doing becomes something that they are interested in. Yours could be dancing, it could be comedy, it could be makeup, could be lifestyle, could be cooking. Either way, you want to choose a niche. Now, when you're building a personal brand, obviously as a person, you are able to do a couple of different things, right? Because you as a person. So right now, I teach people more so how to make money online. But what you're not ever going to experience is me giving you hair tutorials, fashion tutorials, or cat advice, even though all three of those things go along with me as Kenya Kelly, the person. That's not actually why you are following this channel or watching any of my videos. You're watching my videos typically because I'm talking about something business related, even if it's encouraging and inspirational, okay? So I strongly encourage you to choose a niche, because once you choose a niche, then it makes it easier to target an audience of people, okay? Because you don't want your content to be for 10-year-old kids today, and then 50-year-old women tomorrow. Kids are not gonna wanna watch that content about the 50-year-old, and the 50-year-old's not going to want to watch the content that is geared towards the 10-year-old. Both are great audiences, but it's important because we like to watch what we like to watch, and we like to experience consistency in the things that we take in with a particular brand. So first things first, you got to define your niche and your audience. The second thing you want to do is you want to choose a name for this online brand. Now, you may not know this, but my name is Kenya Kelly Griffin, okay? Griffin is my last name. Kelly is my middle name. But when I decided to build an online brand, I thought about the future, how one day I want to get married, remarried, and I want to take my husband's last name. And so I didn't want to build a brand on Kenya Griffin or Kenya Kelly Griffin when I knew that my name would change at some point. So instead, I dropped Griffin and then Kenya Kelly. Now, before I could actually go forward with it, first thing I did was make sure that the domain was available, that all the social media handles were available, okay? okay? So that way, when people are trying to find me on any social media platform, that they never have a hard time finding me. So you want to find me on LinkedIn or Snapchat or TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, everything is Kenya Kelly. So when you are thinking about the name that you choose, you want to check and see if your domain is available. If it's not available, then you want to think about a different name. And if it's not available, then you want to start thinking, is this name potentially being trademarked? Okay? Because if the name is not available, right, then there's a potential, not always, but there is potential that someone else has that name and could be trademarking that name. Like, for example, we all know that Beyonce and Jay-Z were trying to trademark the name Blue Ivy because of their daughter, but they couldn't do it because there's a boutique in New York and that name is Blue Ivy, okay? So they had to go with something else. So you want to be very intentional with your name so that way you have your domain and your social media handles, and then you can trademark it at some point. The third thing you want to do is you want to create a logo and a brand identity, okay? Because Kenya Kelly has a logo, has colors, has the way that we show up, the way that we don't show up, how we talk, how we don't talk, the fonts we use, the fonts we don't use, when we're creating graphics, how we create graphics and how we don't create graphics, right? And then when we create short videos or long videos, here's the things we always talk about. Here's the things we don't talk about. Here's how we comment back to people. Here's how we don't comment back to people. Does that make sense? Because you, like, at some point in time with this online brand that you're building, you're not going to be doing all the things. You're going to have team members who are going to be creating graphics, running your social media, doing all this stuff for you, writing your emails. And you have to have it very clearly defined at some point, maybe not immediately, but always eventually, clearly defined about the brand, the colors, the feeling, the font, the logo, and all the things, and then how the brand shows up, how the brand makes people feel, okay? Because you have to know that, because when that time comes, you to actually put that brand out there, then you're targeting your particular audience with how this brand shows up. The fourth thing you want to go ahead and do is build a website. Now, you may be brand new to getting started with this and stuff. You're like, you can't create this full, robust website. That is okay. One of the things you can do is have your domain and build a simple one-page website. When I first got started with KenyaKelly.com, it was a one-page website because I didn't really have much, not to mention I didn't have a whole lot of money to get started with building this particular website. So you want to build some type of website. That way, when people go there, they're able to get the brand name, what the brand is about, like, you know, the niche, the audience. They're able to get all of that. If you have something to sell, they're able to purchase it. If they want to contact you, they're able to contact you. You just really want to have like a place for people to be able to go, because not everybody uses social media. I was just at an event and I was asking people, do you use Instagram? And they said no. And I said, okay. So then I gave them my website, because not everybody goes to social media to learn about a business. Now, a lot of people do today, but a lot of people still don't. And that's okay. So you want to have some type of website created. Number 5, you want to craft some compelling content. So if you're going to get started building an online brand, that means you have to have an online presence, okay? Not just the website, but choosing, let's just say, whichever social media platform you're going to be on or you're going to start on. Then you have to start creating content in that place that is on brand, that talks directly to your audience in your niche. And you have to be consistent with it. All the time, people want to get started online and they just get excited. They post a bunch for 1-2 days, maybe a week, and then they fall off, okay? But that's not what you want to do, because when you're first getting started, nobody knows you. Nobody knows that you exist. Your initial content is not going to go viral, even though you want it to go viral. Even if it did go viral, you still have to be consistent after the fact. You still got to keep showing up after the fact in order to have an online brand. So you want to develop a content plan, a content strategy, so that you can start showing up with your message to your niche and to your audience, so that you can do whatever it is your goal is, whether it's making money or just building a presence. And the sixth thing you want to do, which is what I kind of alluded to earlier, is you want to be consistent. Okay. So if you were getting started with social media marketing today, depending upon who your audience is, let's just say it's professionals, C-level executives, and you're going to choose to be on LinkedIn. Well, you've got to develop like, okay, what is going to be my plan of how I show up on LinkedIn? Your thing initially may be I post once a week. And that day of the week when I post, I actually go back onto LinkedIn and I comment and I reply to all the people that have talked to me the week before. And then you post and you come back within a week. That may be your posting cadence. And so you got to determine what is that. If you know that consistency is a problem for you, then set an alert on your phone to post on Monday at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., whatever, on LinkedIn and comment back to the people. That way, that is doable for you, okay? Because at some point in time, your life, your business is going to get busy. But if you're able to get into this rotation of being consistent with your posting, consistent with your follow-ups, then people know what to expect from you and then basically when you're going to reply and when you're going to show up. The eighth thing you want to do to build an online brand is paying for targeted ads, okay? Now, I love organic marketing. Organic marketing is amazing because it is free. But running ads actually makes it a lot easier and it's more targeted and it helps you to build an online brand a lot faster, okay? I do free things all day, every day, but I also run ads because ads have this level of like guarantee to reach the people that I am trying to reach with what it is that I am trying to do, okay? So if you're trying to build your brand fast, very strategic and very targeted to a certain group of people in a niche, then running paid ads is going to be your very best friend. The ninth thing you want to do to build an online brand is work on building relationships and strategic partnerships. Now, this one is easy and it's also hard, okay? Because when it comes to building a relationship, like relationships take time. It's not something that just happens overnight. People don't just trust you all of a sudden. You don't just trust people all of a sudden. It's going to take time for people to get to know you, like you, trust you, for you to get to know people, like them, and trust them. So you want to take this slow, okay? Don't go in guns blazing, expecting people to give you all of what you need, open up their Rolodex and just make it happen for you. And then you shouldn't be doing the same thing. You shouldn't just be opening up everything up to people just because they seem nice. You want to take time developing relationships with people so that way, you know the nature of the relationship. I have people who we only talk about business. I have other people where we only talk about fun stuff. And then I have people where we talk about fun stuff and business stuff, right? But I also have those people that I never recommend anything to them. I never open up the door for them because I don't know what's going to happen when they go in that door, but I still have a relationship with them in terms of our relationship in general. And I have people that have never opened the door for me whatsoever. And I'm not talking about a physical door. I'm talking about a relational door. And that is perfectly okay. But it's important to take it slow and building these relationships and then knowing what you're doing, how you're doing, so that way you can build partnerships. And then the last thing you want to do is track and analyze the data, okay? Because once you start doing what you're doing, marketing your products and services, marketing you online, you got to see how are people actually responding to you. What type of content or message are they resonating with that you say? And what are the things that people just don't resonate with? Because otherwise you could be doing all of these things and nothing happens. And then when you do this, everything happens, right? Not saying that just because this video got 1,000 views that you should always do content around this. But what I am saying is that giving yourself the opportunity to actually learn what is actually working, right? But you won't actually know that unless you are going back and looking at the data when it comes to the relationships, when it comes to the events you went to, when it comes to your emails, like headlines and all this stuff. If you're not actually taking some time and looking at to see what is working and what is not working, then you'll just continue to spin your wheels and won't really know if what you're doing is working. these are my 10 tips when it comes to getting started building an online brand. But if you have another tip, I want to know, tell me in the comments what you feel like people should be doing to build an online brand. And if you have a question about any of the tips that I mentioned, please let me know. If you also are interested in working together, I would love to serve you. There's a link in the comments where you can actually book a call where we'll work together for 75 minutes and I'll help you with your brand, your messaging, your product, as well as launching your offer online. Okay, so thank you so much for watching and listening.